Hey guys, it's Shelby, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you about some sustainable or zero waste swabs, whatever you want to call it, that are better for the planet that don't get talked about very often. This is a little series on my channel. If you want to check out the other episodes in this little series, I'll have them linked below. You guys seem to really like these, so I keep making them, and I would love to hear if you think there are some other swabs out there that don't get talked about enough that should be talked about in the comments. If you have some more that you'd like to see in upcoming episodes of this series, let me know in the comments down below. With the holidays coming up, Halloween, all that sort of stuff, consumerism hits a peak and also wastefulness hits a peak. If you guys didn't know, during the holiday season, waste in the US goes up by 25%, which is a massive amount. That's a quarter of what's already being produced, being put into the waste stream during the holidays. So that's incredibly huge. And so I'm trying to pump out a lot of content to maybe be helpful with that. So with that in mind, with Halloween coming up, I wanted to say that there is such a thing as compostable, biodegradable, plant-based glitter. I'm gonna have some linked below because there are several Etsy sellers who make this, but basically this is a form of glitter that is not made of plastic. If you didn't already know, glitter is made of plastic, and it's already so tiny that in many cases it is considered a microplastic, and it's so small that it's very difficult to filter out of water. And if you didn't already know, 98% of water tested in the US has been found to have microplastics. So it is essentially everywhere. And no, buying bottled water is not a solution to that, because bottled water companies don't have some sort of special access to special water. They're still bottling water that you and I have access to. Many times it is literally coming from a tap, and then they're wrapping it in plastic. So not really the best decision there. But aside from that tangent, the point of this is to say that there are better options out there for glitter. I think the best option would be just to skip it altogether. But if you can support a small business and you're just a lover of glitter, or you've got the perfect Halloween costume that calls for it, definitely check out the Etsy shops. Like I said, I'll have some linked below. Lush also, they have glitter stuff in their bath bombs and such. That glitter is made from a synthetic material that is biodegradable. So mica also has its own issues, which is in a lot of glitter, as far as safety and child labor and all that sort of stuff in the supply chain. So by avoiding all of that, avoiding the environmental harm, avoiding the exploitation of workers, just choose a more safe and eco-friendly glitter, which, we don't have to take the joy out of everything. We don't have to take glitter all the way away. Just make it a little bit more sustainable, right? Next up is essentially the sponsor of this series, and that is Care of. And it's because I get asked all the time about more sustainable vitamins and supplements, and I always recommend people to these guys right here. If you didn't already know, these vitamin packs are actually compostable. But these little packs right here, you can customize them to exactly what you need, so you're not taking a bunch of vitamins and buying a bunch of vitamins and shipping a bunch of vitamins that don't really benefit you. Basically, the way this works is you take a really quick 5-minute survey over on Care of. You're going to tell them what your concerns are, things that you'd like to fix. Once you go through all the questions, it will recommend the vitamins that would be best suited for you. And what's really cool about this is Care of has a ton of research over on their website, links to research articles, studies, and all that sort of stuff to make sure that what you're taking you are completely comfortable with. And then you get to have these cute little vitamin packs shipped out to you with your name, already portioned out. And when you're done, these are compostable, not only in an industrial compost, though they do recommend that over home composting, but these can be composted in your backyard compost. If you've seen other episodes in this series, you know that I've been taking Care of ever since I found out that this is probably the best way as an eco-conscious person to get my hands on vitamins. And usually when I'm taking their quiz, there are always questions about stress, right? So in my little vitamin packs, I always get rhodiola, which has been proven to be a healthy way to help you manage stress. And it's definitely been really good for me. You guys know I've been dealing with a lot this year. We've all been dealing with a lot this year. So I just really love Care of because they make it super easy to have vitamins in a more eco-friendly way. So if you want to try Care of, make sure you take their really quick survey and use the code that's on the screen right here to get 25% off of your first 3 months, because I think that is a really sustainable swap that maybe a lot of people don't know about, because I personally used to think these were pretty wasteful little packs, but since they are something that is not going to remain on the earth forever, I think it's a really good option. So check them out if you want. Another thing that I really really want you guys to keep in mind with the holidays coming up is paper tape. Okay, so obviously plastic tape is the norm. It's what you see on most boxes, most packaging, what most people use to wrap presents, but there are different types of tape out there that are not plastic, that were made on the earth forever for you to use it for a few minutes. And that's like paper tape. Washi tape, I believe, is also made of paper. Those materials are obviously more sustainable than plastic that's going to end up on this earth forever. But also, as you may know, plastic is made from petroleum. So whenever we choose to support a business that is using a plant-based product, a renewable product, as opposed to something that is made of plastic and petroleum and a non-renewable product, I personally think that the beginning steps, so like the behind the scenes resource use and the after footprint use, right? So paper tape is obviously going to be able to be composted as opposed to plastic tape, which I don't even think you can recycle. I don't know if it's a lot of people don't know it exists, but maybe they just don't think about it as actively as they think about getting plastic tape. It's also not as widely available as plastic tape, right? But definitely like craft stores, I know that they'll have like washi tape, probably paper tape too. Definitely try to think about that when you're wrapping gifts this year, or just in general uses in your life. Make sure you're trying to choose paper over plastic. Next up is Terracycle. Just in general, Terracycle. So if you don't already know what Terracycle is, basically it is a recycling system. They're a recycling coordinator would probably be the best way to explain what they do. So they sell these boxes that you can fill with miscellaneous items. They have different boxes for like office supplies or medical supplies or beauty supplies, all these different things that you can recycle materials that would normally not be recycled in your curbside recycling. And they help coordinate to get those items recycled by people who can actually do so. Now, the reason I say there's room for error here is a lot of times companies can just create a partnership with Terracycle and thereby claim that their product is completely recyclable. And then I think that gets really confusing to the average consumer when they see that
this packaging is 100% recyclable.
So the person thinks they can just chunk it into their curbside recycling, and it ends up messing up the recycling system. And I also think it's just an easy out for companies a lot of the times to say we are recyclable through Terracycle, and then that company doesn't feel the responsibility to figure out how to help the consumer responsibly get rid of that packaging. So it would be very powerful if companies stood by recycling facilities, or I guess cities and municipalities and governments, and like demanded change. And I feel like sometimes Terracycle can be used as a way to just be a stopgap and be like, we do this, so we don't need to do anything else, when in reality it would be a lot better if we had more recycling, and the way to do that would be to fix the system overall. But that wasn't the point of this. The point is that Terracycle does make it possible for you to recycle so many things that otherwise normally would not be. And I don't think a lot of people know that these programs exist. So I'm gonna leave some links down below. Earth Hero does sell Terracycle boxes, and what's really a great thing for you guys to do would be to like work with your local shops, beauty stores, craft supply stores, all those sort of things, and ask them to purchase Terracycle boxes and then put them in their establishments so people around the community can come and drop off those items. So that's option number one. But option number two is also to send your items back to the company that you buy them from if they are part of the Terracycle recycling system. So for instance, again, Earth Hero has recently started their own like Terracycle system, I guess, where you can now send back beauty products that you buy from them and they will recycle it with Terracycle. So there are other companies out there that do that. I'll leave a link in the description. I think I have a whole blog post of companies with take back programs, if I'm not mistaken. Some of those are Terracycle, some of them are just, you know, reusable systems. But I just think Terracycle is in general a really great resource in many cases, and it doesn't get talked about that often. So definitely wanted to put that information in this series. Next up is bug spray. Okay, this is like the most not that glamorous, not that exciting swap, but this is something that's really become important in my life recently because for some reason, and I know you guys are gonna leave all your theories below, but for some reason there are hella mosquitoes in my backyard, okay? A lot of people say that that must mean there's some water standing somewhere near our home. There's not. Like, we live in a pretty suburban neighborhood and there is not water standing, at least not in the immediate vicinity that I can see. And also something I've noticed about them is they are mostly in the backyard. It's not such a problem in the front yard. I thought for a while it was the clover grass, but even in the summer when the clovers die, the mosquitoes are still a real problem. I say all that to say that I have started using a bug spray when we go out into the garden in the evenings because I can't stand it. So we purchased this one from a brand called Badger, and I'll have it linked below. They're a really great small family-owned company that has really been emerging in different parts of the market, like different pretty big name retailers, but they have maintained being a small, lovely, eco-friendly little company, and they make a bug spray that comes in aluminum packaging. Of course, this is not the #1 like resolution, but I just put that in here to say that there are options for bug sprays out there like that, but you can also make your own, because the thing that scares mosquitoes away really is like the smell. They don't like the smell of bug sprays. I think we want to be avoiding any really harsh toxins that can come off of our body and get into the ecosystem and harm other animals, other little varmints that are not trying to suck your blood and give you diseases, because that's a mosquito for you. But yeah, I just wanted to give a quick mention because that's something that's become really important in my life recently, and I don't think people really talk about that as a swap, and I get questions about it. So I'm gonna leave the one I'm using linked below, but I would also love to hear if you guys have other recommendations for either if you make it yourself or where you buy it, or if you're able to find something in refillable packaging. That would be really cool. Let me know in the comments. So for this next one, I do want to say the way that these videos come to be, I think I've explained this maybe before, but basically when I see something that I think I want to talk about, but I don't feel like it's talked about a lot, obviously I add it to the list of things that I think deserve more attention that people don't talk about. But this next one is just one that I discovered and I was like, oh my God, I feel like this does not get anywhere near enough hype. I love this item and more people need to know about it, and it is Miyoko's vegan butter. Yes, my friends, Miyoko's is a plant-based butter, vegan, whatever you want to call it. So it doesn't have any animal products in it, which immediately lowers its carbon footprint and its cholesterol, just throwing that out there. But aside from that, Miyoko's butter is plastic-free and all of its packaging is compostable. Just round of applause. Aside from being plant-based, plastic-free, compostable packaging, it's also the best vegan butter on the market. It does not get watery. My experience with many other butters on the vegan market is that basically when you use it to cook, so much water comes out of the formula sounds like makeup. Basically you can see once it starts to melt the consistency of the butter and then water all around it, and I do not have that problem with Miyoko's. It's just so good. And then also on top of that, Miyoko's is palm oil free, so you don't have to worry about if the brand you're buying from is actually getting their palm oil from a sustainable source and all that kind of stuff. And I talked a little bit recently about how complex the system is around palm oil, that it is sustainable but it's not sustainable, and all the confusing things. I'll link that video right here if you want to learn a little bit more. I'm no expert in that particular subject. I just know how to analyze data and all that kind of thing. But Miyoko's butter is amazing and I don't think it gets nearly enough hype. So if you have it near you, definitely give it a try. It's top notch. Alrighty guys, so those are all the swaps that I feel like do not get enough attention that I wanted to talk about today. Don't forget to check out today's sponsor, which is Care Of, which is a swap that not a lot of people know is sustainable. Compostable packets right here, my friends. Like I said, I'm gonna have a discount for you linked in the description, but remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye guys.